Okay, yesterday we left off at mitosis. Who can tell me what is asexual reproduction? Aiden?
You reproduce by yourself?
You reproduce by yourself? Kendall, do you have something different or you want to build on what he said?
No, I'll do the other one.
You're going to do the other one?
Yeah.
Oh, I just want asexual reproduction right now.
Alright.
Is it when you reproduce with yourself? What's a better description of that? What? Budding? Do we know about budding yet?
I got
No.
yeah.
Copy your genome? Okay. We learned that from the video. Jordan?
You clone yourself?
You clone yourself? Do
Copy
humans do
genomes?
this?
Yes.
No, humans don't do this.
Yeah.
So how many parents are needed? One. Only one. So it only takes one parent organism to create a clone. What is the type of cell division that it occurs through? Louder. Josh, louder.
Scream it, Josh.
Mitosis.
Mitosis. All right.
I took it.
I'm going to hit the lights.
My sister hurt.
Here we go. There are several ways asexual reproduction occurs. We're going to go through them today. All right? We're going to get further than what I anticipated yesterday, so stay with me. First up on our list is binary fission. Binary fission. Okay? Make sure you're writing fission and not fusion. Binary fission. Who's heard of binary? Just the term binary anywhere out in the world.
I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
Okay.
Actually,
I've heard it too, I don't know what it means.
Nate? Okay.
Well, like, it depends. I mean,
Okay.
there's like a lots of kinds of binary. Like, there's a, but like, I guess.
yeah, like non-binary.
Okay, we've heard that.
And like, there's binary code and stuff.
Binary code. When we look at binary code, what are we looking at?
Mainly zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones. We get two options on binary code, right? Zeros and ones. Binary means two. Okay, two options. What about fission? What do you think fission means? Without looking at the rest of our information on the slide. Aiden.
Isn't it like you put two things together, or is that fuse?
That's fuse. So fusion is two becomes one, or sometimes zero. Fission is where what occurred? What do you think?
One becomes two.
One becomes two. So, we know binary means two. Fission, one becomes two. So this has got to be like separating, splitting. Okay? So now, what does that mean for us in biology, in asexual reproduction? Binary fission is common in prokaryotes. Who remembers what a prokaryote is?
I remember.
I know, I'm asking you to remember 6th grade. Prokaryote is an organism without a nucleus. It could be a cell, it could be an organism, okay? But it does not have a nucleus. It can happen in eukaryotes, single-celled organisms, but it's not real common. It is common in prokaryotes. Binary fission is the most basic form of asexual reproduction. Because if we're looking at that diagram up there on the board, what we see is a single cell. That's a bacteria cell. until it becomes 2 daughter cells. You start with 1 until it splits into 2. Good examples of organisms that reproduce through binary fission are bacteria and amoebas and euglena. Euglena is a type of algae.
I thought that like in asexual, I guess, like asexual organisms or whatever, organisms that reproduce asexually, they're like both genders because they have to like be able to impregnate themselves to have a baby.
That would be hermaphrodism, but that's not how reproduction occurs. To have both both sexes. I got the video fixed. You're gonna want to watch the video.
Right.
Okay. From yesterday. All right. What did I do with my clicker? There's my clicker. Okay. Again, we need to make sure we understand binary fission because this is the most basic form of asexual reproduction. We can see mitosis here in our diagram. 1 splits in half to 2 daughter cells. Single-celled organisms undergo this, whether it's prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Okay?
Why does
Not
this
all
matter,
single-celled eukaryotes go through this, but
Why does this matter?
what?
Why does it matter that the cells split?
What do you mean?
What happens if the cells don't split?
Why does
Then
it
reproduction doesn't occur. That
Oh,
split,
is this the reproduction?
yeah, that split is the reproduction,
Oh.
right? Reproduce. So we have 1 and it reproduces into 2, right? Or it produces 2, so now instead of 1 we have 2. And then this one is going to become that one and do the same thing. Same with that one, right? So it becomes more and more and more and more and more. All right, next up we have buddings. I don't need friends, I've got buddies.
No.
There's a reason it's your favorite music video.
Why?
It looks like those.
All right, buddings. The offspring grows out of the parent. Grows out of the body of the parent. Okay? So you've got the parent offspring. It's just happy-go-lucky. It's growing. And then the offspring is going to bud. Like, see, little nub. It's a little bud. And continue to grow until it's too much and it breaks off and now it's its own organism. Fully mature, and it's going to do the same thing. This is a diagram of a hydra going through the budding process. I recommend you, if you have your Chromebook open in front of you, I highly recommend someone at your table have a Chromebook open in front of you, and you Google hydra. Okay? Because once you see a real picture of a hydra, this makes sense. Okay? Without seeing a picture of a hydra, this looks like, what is that? Okay? So look up a picture of a hydra. Yeah.
How does a kangaroo work?
It's sexual reproduction.
I know, like,
It's just, the womb is the pouch on the outside. It's marsupial. Yeah. Okay.
I have a picture of like dragon.
That's
Is
mythical.
there like a different name for this?
The same
No,
thing.
same name. Alright, if you see a picture of like a dragon hydra, mythical creature,
Yeah, that's definitely it.
No.
that is myth.
Oh, okay.
That is not real. That myth is created from this. Okay?
How does that thing bud?
If you pull up the logo from the Marvel movies of Hydra again, that gets its name and motto from this. Okay, cut off one head, 5 more will grow back. It grows out of the body of the parent until it is fully mature enough to be its own organism. Yes.
So don't like
I don't know. I thought they were vegetative reproduction.
Well, because like they've got long things and then the little
Yeah.
plant.
Don't like
Vegetative
squids
reproduction.
and octopus do that?
No.
It's possible.
Oh no, I was talking about like, you like cut off the arm and it grows back.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. That is not budding.
You want
That's coming up in the next 2 slides.
Budding is when it creates its own organism.
Yeah, budding is where it's literally growing, its own organism is growing out
They're all
of and then splits and becomes its own.
What is that water?
This is gummy bear tea.
That sounds so nasty.
That's delicious.
That's why there was gummy bears.
Is it just like a tea bag and gummy bears?
No, it's gummy bears and water.
She just.
How's it tea?
sacrifice snow.
Ugh.
It's delicious.
And
Ew, no.
Alright,
Tastes like.
Is the water hot?
like melted gummy bears. Hydras reproduce asexually by budding. How does the offspring compare genetically to the parent? Kendall? It would be the same. Same how? Same DNA? Jordan? You want to add to that?
Basically just created another version of itself.
It just created another version of itself. It's a clone, right?
How does it clone?
By growing out of the body.
How?
Honestly, I don't know what the trigger is to start the process here. That's something you could probably Google. In 3 years, nobody's asked that question, and today it's been asked twice.
Thank you.
How does
So, yeah.
Are you just looking up how does it
Neither one of you brothers asked that question.
Pretty sure. It doesn't
Yeah, it
know
doesn't
how
count.
to.
Questions out of neither of your brothers.
What is my brother asked?
Okay, then next type of asexual reproduction. Fragmentation. Alright, these two slides go together, fragmentation and regeneration, and we need to be very careful not to confuse the two, because fragmentation uses regeneration, but it is not the same. Okay? Fragmentation is when you have the parent organism and a piece breaks off, and that piece uses regeneration to grow into a new organism. Okay? So let's look at the starfish here on the slide. Starfish is going to have a limb break off, right? One of the star pieces breaks off. That piece, that leg, the star piece, then grows the rest of the pieces needed to become a fully realized starfish, not just the leg. It uses regeneration to grow all the rest of the pieces necessary, and now it's its own starfish. Now we have 2 identical starfish.
How long does that
Yeah.
take?
What if we just cut off all his legs?
And then you would have
A lot of babies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 starfish.
How long does that take?
I've never done it or watched it. You can Google it. Okay. Another good example of fragmentation is planarians. Okay, you can Google planarians to get a better picture than what this is, but this diagram is a good diagram to show the fragmentation process. Okay, it will split into sections, and each section of the planarian will then regenerate into its own organism. There's a reason I don't show the organism on my screen. You can look it up. Planarian, Planarian.
What's
Looks like
Planarian organism?
Planarian,
Organs.
like a
Organs?
third.
just planarian.
Yo, we actually looked at that? I
That's why.
What is it?
Let me see the leaky bro.
The little worm. He looks goofy. Ew.
It looks like a snake.
His eyes are so
Yeah, it looks like a
silly.
snake. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, we're gonna snake.
But listen, his eyes are so silly. Looks like a cartoon.
It don't look like nothing good.
Looks like a snake.
Ew, that was like.
No.
Oh my
Oh, besides what you say that looks like.
What happened?
We're gonna go with a worm or a snake.
Look like something different than a snake.
It looks like a snake.
Let's remember
Definitely.
let's remember the camera's on.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, right, the camera's on.
Alright,
You have to show it off.
so let's break it down. Fragmentation. A piece breaks off of the parent organism and then regenerates into its own fully grown organism. Okay? So budding, it grows and then breaks off. Fragmentation, it breaks off and then grows. You see the order there?
Yes.
Okay, regeneration. Regeneration is where the piece breaks off, but then the parent organism can regrow that piece. So like think of a lizard's tail. Yeah, the lizard's tail will regrow, that's regeneration. Or the starfish, that piece that broke off that then grew into its own organism, the original starfish can regrow the piece that broke off. That's regeneration. Other organisms that can reproduce through regeneration are sea cucumbers. That's another one you're going to have to look up on your own. Yep. It is considered a delicacy in Japanese cuisine.
So, for the fragmentation,
Oh, I've
like,
seen those.
They look so yummy.
and then
I could
becomes
gobble
a
them.
worm. Where's its brain and stuff?
It doesn't have a brain.
What?
These organisms do not have brains. Yeah, that's not their anatomy.
The sea cucumber?
Remember, you're closest to the camera, Ty.
What are you doing?
Okay. All right. So let's break these down into how it's easiest to remember them. Budding, it grows, then breaks off. Fragmentation, it breaks off and grows its own. Regeneration, it breaks off, I'll grow another one. See the distinctions?
Yes.
Now let's talk vegetative reproduction. Okay? Some of you had questions and you said, isn't that how this does it? Isn't that how this does it? No, this is vegetative reproduction. Okay? This is the process when a plant, typically, it could be any other organism, but this is mostly plants, produces without seeds or spores. Okay? So plants, fungi, doesn't use seeds or spores. I mean, vegetative means plant, essentially. Okay? Our examples say some plants and potatoes. I'm going to give you some specifics here in a minute. Because this diagram is a really good diagram, and I'm going to explain it a little bit better once you get these written down. So I'm going to give you a couple a minute. So, organism arises without seeds or spores.
What spores?
Like with mushrooms produce spores, and that's how they spread. Or pollen is spores. Not
It's a
exactly,
potato.
don't write that down, nix that, pollen is not really spores. Spores are, how do I write? Spores are like seeds, but they're not seeds, they're the ovum.
The ovum.
Alright,
Wait, what?
spores and seeds are ovum,
What is that?
same as an egg, ovum means egg. Alright, let's talk process now. Take a look at this picture, okay? Alright, we've got plants, okay? Typically they have these type of plants that go through vegetative reproduction have shallow roots, okay? And then you've got the part of the plant that is above soil. In this particular picture, it's a flowering plant. It's going to have a stem that doesn't stay up, and instead it decides to do what we call peg. It pegs back into the soil, and that peg then starts to grow roots here. And those roots then take hold, again with short root systems, and then starts to grow another plant like this one, and it's going to start the process over again. So this is a plant, this is a new plant form. They have separate root systems, but they are connected because this peg decided to plant itself again to start the new root system.
So they all just stay connected?
So they typically stay connected. We see this with strawberries. You see this with potatoes, like sweet potato vine. Any other potatoes, they have that vine that's on top of the soil, but beneath you have the potatoes. Bermuda grass. You ever tried to pull Bermuda grass out of an area where you don't want it so you can plant your garden or wherever, and you pull up one and it just pulls up a string of the grass with all the different roots attached to it? That's an example of vegetative reproduction with the different pegs being pulled up with it. Jordan?
Doesn't a kind of tree do that almost?
There are some trees, it depends on the species of tree, that will reproduce through vegetative reproduction. I used to know it in my head, but I'm going to have to look it up again for the species of tree. There are a lot of trees that have intertwined roots underneath, but that it is different from vegetative reproduction. That twining is different. Jordan, or Kendall.
Why is there so much Bermuda?
It's quick and easy to grow, and it can withstand the drought.
What is Bermuda green?
We're still in a drought. Yeah.
Bermuda green?
Is Bermuda green?
Is that like really green?
If it gets enough water. Okay. Strawberries reproduce this way also, but strawberries have seeds, don't they? Right?
Yes.
So if strawberries have seeds, and strawberries reproduce this way, do they reproduce solely through vegetative reproduction?
Well, they do both.
Strawberries reproduce both asexually and sexually. All right. I want you to take 5-ish minutes, and in your cutouts,
Which one?
hold on, this one, here, this one, okay? On the side that says asexual reproduction,
You're gonna write budding.
what you're going to do is you're going to match the vocab term with the definition, and you're going to write it here. I don't care if you write it on the front or on the back Where are these all glued together? Front or back, but you're gonna write vocab, okay? You're gonna have more to write at some point. Spend time before now. Okay, let's move forward. 3D offspring. I want you to go ahead and write 3D offspring in the Q column. Okay. 3D offspring. You'll find the rubric for it on the Google Classroom with the slides and video from yesterday. 3D offspring. Alright, let's work backwards. Say we have an offspring that is not genetically identical to the parent organism. What type of reproduction created it? Why? Whoa, not everybody at once. Chill.
Oh, I don't know anything now.
Oh, okay, what? Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, sexual.
Sexual?
Yeah.
Okay. Why sexual? DJ?
Because when it's asexual, it's a clone of one parent, and then sexual is like a mixture of both.
I like that answer. When it's asexual, it's a clone of that parent. So if we found one that's not genetically identical, it's gotta be the other one. It's not a clone, right? Make sure you're writing in full and complete sentences, full and complete thoughts. Practice those writing skills you're learning in ELA.
I'm not learning anything.
You realize you said that on camera?
I'm not learning anything, we're reading.
Okay.
We're learning how to read.
You were reading The Giver.
We're reading The Giver.
It's fantastic.
No, it's not.
Oh my goodness.
It's the worst book I've ever read.
No, the movie was bad. The book was
No, it's not.
You're not reading The Giver.
book is amazing.
It makes my ears hurt.
That looks like the weirdest book I've ever read so far.
All right. Hey. Okay. What have you learned from The Giver so far?
Jonas doesn't like spoiling.
Literally nothing. They're controlling.
Where are you at in The Giver? Tell me about it.
A community.
Chapter
A
12.
community.
Okay. What happened in chapter 11? Okay, he met the receiver memory and he just gave him some memories.
Jonas is in it.
Okay.
Asher's in it.
That
All
one
right.
girl's
So
in
you've
it.
named
Allie
your
girl.
characters.
Lily, yeah, her. She's in it.
Tell me, Timothy. Tell me about Aiden. What happened at the receiving ceremony where they received their jobs or whatever?
Jonas had been called up.
Describe the
Yeah,
people
Jonas
to
got
me.
skipped.
They all looked the same, didn't they? Why?
Sadness.
It makes no sense. That's not.
It makes no sense? What have
Oh,
we been
it's all
learning about?
asexual.
I don't know.
They're all asexual.
Is it all asexual?
That's what I said.
Wait.
Are we sure?
Wait.
They're still human. So were they reproducing asexually?
No.
It's sexually, but what's happening?
They're all getting raised the exact same.
It's all the same parent?
Everything's sexual.
No. No, they're all
No.
like.
What's happening?
They're all getting raised the exact same.
Are they raised the same?
Yes.
They are, the parents all have the same genetics.
The parents all have the same genetics.
Oh,
Are we sure?
Yeah, because it's only.
Do they all look the same?
Yeah.
No. So they don't have the same genetics.
Asexually.
They're all cousins.
They definitely I live in Alabama. Because only supposed to be you and your brother or sister are supposed to have the same genetics, right?
What?
Same DNA.
Oh wait.
What else have we learned
Where in
about their?
Alabama?
What else have we learned about their traits?
They look different.
They look different, so they're not
None
clones.
of them are actually related.
None of them are actually related. But what have we learned about?
Well, yeah, they are related.
Some
Yeah,
are
buddy,
not.
they have no idea about the outside world.
Okay.
They have buddies.
What about their genetic
Their
traits? What have we
mutations.
learned?
Their mutations.
There's mutations.
No, they're mutations.
They are mutations.
No. Where's
What are we talking
Wait, are there boys and girls, or is it just all boys or all girls?
It's boys and girls.
Ty, how did you
Not been reading? No wonder you haven't been.
Have they described their eyes?
You haven't been.
Is how would anyone get
They're
a strong
pale.
birth mother?
Some are what? Some are light. Hey, it's described their eyes, right? Some are light and some are dark.
Pale.
They've described it as light and dark or pale,
So it was only
right?
at the beginning. There was only 3 parents at the start. So then they just got
Okay.
Ancestry.
Okay. Yeah. What do we know about traits and how traits are passed down?
Inherited trait.
Inherited traits, right?
Buddies.
We're all sexual.
Wait.
So as you're reading the giver, remember what we've learned about inherited traits and how things are passed from generation to generation to generation. Okay? Because tomorrow when we start discussing sexual reproduction
one eye
and
color.
how genes mix together, right? And what occurs to do that, to pass on those traits, it's going to be important as you finish reading the giver. There's a reason Coach Gunter and I are teaching the same thing at the same time.
One eye color is dominant.
What?
What's the
Ooh,
reason?
what?
Dark is the dominant icon.
Yeah.
We'll see.
How?
What's the reason, Chris?
I don't know.
Let's talk about advantages of asexual reproduction right now, though.
What?
So when you say you're not learning anything in ELA,
We're not.
We're learning everything.
Well, we did. We're on.
Coach Gunter and I work together to make sure you are.
No.
All right.
No,
Relax.
We're all learning stuff.
Blackwell. Yay.
Hey. Let's look at asexual reproduction again.
Is this the climax?
What?
Advantages. Good for organisms that are not mobile. What does mobile mean?
Can't
Move,
move
they
around
can't
that
move.
much.
Can't move around, right? So good for organisms that can't move and they cannot look for a mate. Okay? Numerous offspring without costing the parent great amount of energy. What does that mean?
You don't have to try.
Have a lot of babies without doing a lot. Doesn't take a lot of energy.
It's cheap.
And it's quick.
No. How quick?
Well,
How quick?
Pop them out like that.
binary fission is literally that quick, if not faster.
I doubt it.
Why do you doubt it?
Your cells replicate even faster through mitosis. Alright. So again, advantages. Good for organisms that are not mobile and cannot look for a mate. Numerous offspring without a lot of energy, and it's quick. So lots of offspring without tons of energy.
What would you like design humans to do?
That is very.
It would turn into the giver. Turn into the giver. Yeah.
That would be
Josh is paying attention.
Whoa.
Man. Yeah.
Birth givers are kind of.
We're gonna do both. I want you to in your notes right now.
No.
Wait, what is
Alright.
that?
How about disadvantages? Disadvantages. Lack of genetic variation. Because of that lack of genetic variation, they share the same weaknesses. And if the environment changes, they can't adapt quickly or survive.
No way.
Come on, who can sing that part of the song for me?
No. What was it?
What part?
Environment changes, everyone dying.
Oh, when they're on the road and everything. No.
They can't
What
help
are
that.
you doing?
He adapted on that. He like flies in the road.
Yeah, right.
So disadvantages, lack of genetic variation means they share the same weaknesses, means they can't adapt and they can't survive when the environment changes. What does lack of genetic variation mean?
Ooh.
Presley?
They don't have enough genetic variation.
What are you passing?
Presley?
So like if there's symptoms only one parent, you don't really get another like you're like whatever that one parent is, you're not.
So you're a clone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lack of genetic variation means clone. No difference. Why would that be a disadvantage? Seth?
Because like you're kind of just screwed if your parent sucks. Like if your parent takes too many L's, you're gonna take a lot of L's too.
No, that's not how it works.
That's
All right,
like
what
exactly
would, give me an example of an L when we're
AIDS.
talking about these organisms.
HIV is.
if you can't
Cancer.
move.
AIDS.
Okay?
You can't move. You're screwed, dude.
Okay? Yeah. If you can't move, you can't outrun a predator, right?
No way.
Hey, Jim.
Wow.
That's why some animals camouflage.
Todd, what is
We
it?
will get into that later. All right. Hey, I want you to take 5 minutes, and I want you to go to the other cutout, the one that has the different blocks with the 1, 2, 3s listed, and I want you to separate out your advantages and disadvantages of asexual reproduction.
No way.
Okay? Take some time.
Is it this very?
Okay?
Too fast. Would you be looking over these?
Hold on.
Are you still live?
All right, so to finish us off today, we're going to end on a 3D thinking. I want you to label it 3D asexual. 3D asexual. All right. In 3D asexual, I want you to think about a population that population of organisms that reproduce asexually. Which scenario would be more difficult for that population to survive in? A disease that destroys half of the population, or a disease that targets any organism with similar traits? Why? Take a minute, answer it, okay? With potatoes?
Yeah. Didn't you say potatoes?
Yes.
Yeah.
How'd you drag it this far?
Yeah.
So like if potatoes
Get to look on linkage and figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you really just kill each other? You know what it is.
Alright. Alright. What'd you come up with? Which scenario is more difficult? Anna.
I think it's the disease that targets an organism with similar traits, because if all the organisms have similar traits, then they're all going to be able to catch the disease.
Okay.
I agree.
Who else agrees? Aiden. Who else agrees with Anna?
Me.
Hey, let's not just agree with Anna because it's
She's
Anna.
right.
Let's actually listen.
Yeah, that
Okay.
actually sounds
Oh, am I
true.
wrong?
That doesn't make
No,
sense.
you're right.
They all would die.
I'm not.
What do we know about asexual reproduction?
It's dangerous.
Jordan,
You never
It's less dangerous than sexual.
say that again, Jordan.
Whatever clone has the exact same traits as it.
Yeah, whatever the clone has, it's gonna be the exact same as the parent,
So this
right?
can't be more dangerous.
Kendall,
So it would kill off more than half of the
The parent has it.
what?
It would kill off more than half of the population.
So it could kill off more than half of the population, correct? Why would a disease that destroys half the population be relatively easy to overcome?
Because you just start over.
Because it's fast. Right? Those organisms that produce asexually reproduce quickly. So losing half the population wouldn't be a problem. Right?
Kinda.
But they share the same genes, so they share the same traits. So is Anna's answer correct?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Get on the right page.
Yeah, so Anna was correct. Make sure you're writing your answer. Excuse me. Let's try this again. Make sure you're writing your answer in full and complete sentences, in full and complete thoughts. Again, practice your writing skills that you're learning in Coach Gunter's room.
But besides, you should come to our game
Okay?
this Thursday.
All right.
I haven't seen y'all one game yet.
Camera's on. All right. And 3, 2.